Okay, Mary, so I reviewed your 3-day diet diary. Thank you for completing that. I'd like to talk a bit about your food choices and how they might be impacting your oral health. Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So, as we discussed when we went through your care plan, you've been diagnosed with moderate gingivitis and are at high risk for developing periodontitis. After having a look at your diet diary, I want to add that some of your food choices may also be putting you at high risk for cavities. So today we're going to go over your diet and compare it to Canada's Food Guide. We're going to discuss some good habits and some areas for improvement and create some realistic goals for you to improve your nutrition. So I want to first hear from you. What are your thoughts about your diet generally?
I think it's pretty good, but I know I probably don't eat enough vegetables.
It sounds like you're able to recognize some areas for improvement already, so that's great. There are some positive things that I've noticed about your diet, like your high protein intake from meats and dairy products. It's also great that you're drinking water with meals and occasionally snacking on fruits like apples and bananas. However, as you pointed out, fruits and vegetables are somewhat limited, and there's also not a whole lot of whole grain foods, and there are frequent sugary snacks and drinks like diet soda, cookies, candy. So what do you think about our findings from your diet diary?
That sounds about right. I don't really think much about the diet soda though, since it doesn't have any sugar in it.
Diet soda is one of those things that can seem healthy, but even though it doesn't contain sugar, it's still very acidic and can wear away the enamel, which is that outer surface of the tooth, over time. So what do you think about trying to replace some of your diet soda with water throughout the day?
I think I could do that.
That's great to hear. So now comparing your diet to Canada's Food Guide, they recommend eating lots of fruits and vegetables, choosing whole grain foods and plant-based proteins more often, limiting processed foods, and making water your drink of choice. Comparing your diet to these guidelines, what do you think could be one area for improvement?
I could probably eat more fruits than vegetables.
That's a great goal. Eating a lot of fruits and vegetables is so important in getting those essential vitamins and minerals, and it's very beneficial for your overall health but also your oral health. These nutrients that you get from fruits and vegetables helps maintain oral tissues like your gums and periodontal tissues as well. Another important thing to look at is sugary snacks like chocolate, cookies, candy, and so on. These foods can contribute to your cavity risk because the bacteria in our mouths feed off of that sugar and use it to produce acid. And as a result, the acid weakens the teeth and increases your risk for cavities. Frequency is also really important. So frequent snacking between meals and after meals causes a high number of these acid attacks, as we call them, which increases your risk of getting cavities. Were you aware of the impact of frequent snacking?
No, I just thought I should eat less sugar.
Yes, it's very common to think that the amount of sugar is the culprit, when really frequency is just as important. So reducing the number of sugary snacks throughout the day can greatly reduce the cavity risk. Your diet can also have a big impact on periodontal health, especially with a limited intake of fruits and vegetables. There's not enough nutrients to maintain gum health and healing as well. So since you're at high risk for periodontitis, improving your nutrition and adding more fruits and vegetables can help maintain periodontal health along with good oral hygiene habits, of course. So let's create some realistic goals for you based on your current diet. What is one improvement that you think you could make in the next 2 weeks?
I think I could eat more fruits and vegetables throughout the day.
That's an awesome goal. So what's another realistic change you think you could make?
I could probably drink a bit more water instead of diet soda maybe once a week.
That's also a good goal. So to create a specific goal, what do you think about having those sugary foods once a day with a meal and snacking on a fruit or vegetable instead?
I could probably do that.
Amazing. Another recommendation is to choose whole grain foods more often instead of refined grains and to incorporate more plant-based proteins such as beans, chickpeas, tofu, nuts, that type of thing. I also encourage you to continue making water your drink of choice. It sounds like you've set a good goal to replace diet soda with water once a week, which is great. Lastly, I want to encourage you to keep eating meals with friends and family because this can make eating more enjoyable, but it can also make you recognize those fullness cues and more aware of your portion sizes. I'm going to give you these sheets. So the first one is a bit of a breakdown of these dietary recommendations that I've made for you, and this other sheet is a copy of Canada's Food Guide, so you can have as much information as possible. Canada's Food Guide can also be accessed online on their website, and it just gives you a good visual of kind of the breakdown of your plate, incorporating half of the plate as the fruits and vegetables, and incorporating those whole grain foods and plant-based proteins as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So to summarize what we talked about today, we looked at some strengths from your diet, like your high protein intake and some fruits and vegetables with meals. We also looked at increasing your fruit and vegetable intake, reducing the frequency of the sugary snacks, choosing more whole grain foods and more plant-based proteins, and lastly, limiting diet soda and increasing water intake. We talked about how sugary and acidic foods can increase your cavity risk and how important proper nutrition is for periodontal health as well. We came up with some goals for you to have sugary foods once a day with a meal and to have a fruit or vegetable as a snack instead. And we've also set a goal to replace diet soda with water once a week. So based on our conversation, you've expressed motivation to make these changes and have had a good understanding of how proper nutrition will support your oral health. At our next visit, we will check in and see how everything's going. We'll talk about anything that went really well or any challenges you might have faced and make changes as needed. Do you have any questions or concerns?
No, thanks for the help. I feel really good about these changes.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to go through this with me today. I look forward to hearing how it goes.